Want an easy DIY pin board that's still pretty unique? If so, stick around. What's up, y'all? It's Danny and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you a DIY do-it-yourself nerdy pin collection. I don't know if you guys can see, but I just did this in probably under 20 minutes, and I'm going to show you how. This is a product that I got off of Amazon. This isn't a sponsored video or anything like that. I was just thinking of ways to display my pin collection, and I came across these little hexes, and being a board gamer, I think this is a cool, unique way to display my pins. The hexes remind me of board games, and it's also a little bit different than just a rectangular pin board. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. You can click the little bell button and leave a like and a comment on what type of pins do you like to collect. I'm actually relatively new to pin trading, and I wouldn't consider myself a huge enthusiast, but anytime there's any sort of knickknacks or collectibles, I kind of dive headfirst in. So, of course, when I got my Disney Pass, I started getting more curious, and then it wasn't actually until Origins Game Fair, a board game convention that happens in Columbus, Ohio, where I started pin collecting. They have a pin bazaar, and it's almost like a scavenger hunt where you go around and you look for different board game publishers that might be giving out limited edition pins, or if you demo their games you get a pin, or if you buy a game you get a pin, and that's kind of where it all started. And now I have a good handful, but I know it's nothing compared to the big collectors. It's something that, it's a good display piece, and it still gives me memories when I think about some of the pins that I've collected. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how I set this up and then give you a little rundown on how I decorated it. So the set of hexes that I got to be the pin board came with 7 different hexagons, and each of them have a little sticky back, and you just peel off the plastic and you can stick it on. So I just picked one where I wanted to be the focal, and I worked around that. It's really nice that it comes with sticky back, that way you don't have to have any extra materials when you come hanging up. And yeah, I was just kind of just placing them around. I knew I didn't want it to be super symmetrical, but as I figured out a good placing for one, I would just peel off the back and stick it down. I left about an inch, maybe half an inch in between, just so that there's a little bit of negative space in between. You could technically put them all together. Do it any way you want, whatever flows best with your room. I just knew that I wanted to be asymmetrical, almost like it was flowing and creating its own pathway. You could buy more. I'm starting off with 7, but I might buy some extra and, you know, just kind of have it organically flow, especially as I'm collecting more pins. As you can see, I'm moving some posters around. I have this old poster that I collected way back when that has all 151 original Pokemon, and that plush is actually from Emily Detmer that I got from Origins about a year ago, and it's probably one of my most prized possessions. So once I got my layout, I put up my little Pokemon poster just to fill up the negative space, and then I am ready to put on the pins. So it was cool because these hexes actually came with, I think, 30 of these mini clothespins that are attached to push pins. So you could hang up pictures or little keepsakes. So of course I had to hang up a picture of my best friend Bowser. This is one of my favorite pictures of him, and I would love to see him every day when I'm on the computer or I'm gaming. So these clothespins obviously make things a little more customizable. I try to leave the majority of the space for pins, of course, but I wanted to put up other keepsakes such as these tickets from Aladdin, one of my favorite movies, and also one of the first big Broadway productions that I saw here in Orlando. So now we can get into the pin collection that I have so far. So ever since I started pin trading with Disney specifically, drawn to these Mickey heads in the shape of fruits and nuts and pie, and that kind of led me into collecting all different types of pins that look like food. So these are little candied apples and different characters. They're the Cheshire Cat and the Evil Queen and Goofy. I have a Pluto donut, and I need to find more of those. I love those. Another Mickey saucer that's in the shape of a candy apple. A couple cupcakes of Mickey and Goofy. I also have these little ice creams of 101 Dalmatian And there's a cool little macaroon that I found in a pretty sweet color. I love that color. And I also have little teapots. So a little teacup and a little Mickey and Alice teapot. So yeah, anytime I find anything that could fit in this category, I have to trade for. I also have all these, so these are my lanyards from all the different conventions. So you have pins that I'll take to specific conventions because they're some of my favorites, but now I have a pin board where I can display. So I have this little corgi pin that Andy got for me, and yeah, it's just a couple different ways to display some fun things that I've collected at different conventions. So I put my little corgi pins by Bowser, of course. Pinned up some of my badges and ribbons that I've collected that have some meaning to me. So from Essen and Dice Tower Con, I collected these little Pokemon pins at Essen when I was over there, my first time in Essen. And that reminds me of my first trip to Europe. I also went to London and I got to visit the Pokemon Center at London. So I put that up there as well. I also started putting up my pins that I've collected at Origins. So again, I talked a little bit about it earlier, but Origins has this pin bazaar. Some of these that you're seeing right now is from the game Root, and also Vast the Mysterious Manor. So yeah, a lot of these next ones that are coming up are specifically from the Origins Game Fair. A lot of my favorite games such as Honga and Wingspan, King of Tokyo. That little cat one is always a striking one. So I have two from Dinosaur Island. Dinosaur pins are always a must. And I also have a few from Haba. I got to help them out at their booth before, so that always brings fond memories of Gen Con as well. That was another panda one from King of Tokyo. These little meeples also from Emily Detmer. I will link her Etsy shop below, but she usually hands them out at cons and it's always a joy. I have a limited edition James Hudson Druid City Games pin and a pin from the Glass Die from Ika and Jeff, so those are special to me. A couple rainbow ones that I've collected over time, and also representing Columbus board gamers. I get to hang out with at every Origins. Hi Amy and Steven and Andy again. I also have this little cat from Roomba from Quirky Circuits, and another rainbow panda from Panda Manufacturing. Just rainbow everything. Broken Token is always a delight, and I love the people there. I wanted to put up my PAX badges as well. I was a special guest, and I was media there covering with variable player power. And I also have these cool Gloomhaven pins that you'll see a little bit more up close from a designer named Isaac Childress. You may have heard of his game Gloomhaven. He might be coming out with Frosthaven and Jaws of a Lion. Small little game, probably not number one on Board Game Geek. Just kidding. Love you, Isaac. Hi, Kristen, if you're watching this too. And I have some pronoun pins. I got a Black Lives Matter pin and a rainbow pin as well from PAX Unplugged. So those are going up on my hex right there. And I found a few more Disney pins that I could put on my Aladdin hex, where one is just snacks at Disney, like the churros and the ice cream and the pretzel. And then I also found a Mickey, Happy Birthday Mickey anniversary pin too. Last few things as my board is filling up, I have these printouts from the Blue Peg Pink Peg meetup at Origins. Shout out to my con wife Christina. I love you. These always bring back good memories. I also have these little tiles that just came with the game Takanoko, one of the first games I ever bought within hobby board gaming, and never knew what to do with them, so now they're up on my board and I can see pandas every day. I also have these things from the Joko Cruise. One of the best experiences. Shout out to Jen Ellis and Keith as well of Together Studios. We run the Cardboard Concierge, and these are little knitted knickknacks that we found on the boat. And last but not least is Variable Player Power, my podcast that I co-host with Theo and Ella. there you have it, a quick and easy pin board that's a little bit more unique than just a pin board that you can find at Michael's. So feel free to tag me, send me pictures of your pin boards, and yeah, I'd love to see them. See y'all later.